I'm Enzo, and today I'll be playing more Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out. And today we're going to be starting with another planet detected, Chiliol. I wonder which one it is. Yeah, it's the ice planet. In this playthrough, I want to come here relatively early so I can expose the iron volcanoes and start harvesting iron from the planetoid. Next up, I'm starting work on a project. I'll tell you more about it later, but I have a lot of debris to clean up first. In the meantime, I'm also going to close up the chlorine geyser because this thing is making a giant mess of chlorine just everywhere. I don't have a use for chlorine yet, but I might in the future. Everything was going really fine until this. Yeah, I may have forgotten to unrestrict the bathroom. My bad. This is also pretty annoying because now I have to take Eldridge's Atmo suit off, then reassign it, hoping that it doesn't break in the process. Luckily though, it doesn't. In the middle of that process, we also managed to discover a new planetoid, Stinkalin. Have I heard this name before? Whatever. This is the swamp planetoid with the sentient resin trees, and tungsten volcanoes, which I haven't used in the last playthrough, but they can be insanely useful. Fun fact, if a rocket orbits a planetoid that you haven't discovered yet, you can actually see the surface. I mean, I assume most people know this, but if you didn't, there you go. But I've been here a bunch of times before, so I already knew what was there, and unfortunately there's nothing interesting on this neat space POI. So I have a plan, as usual. My plans are always stupid, but this one is a bit more. I mean, I thought it would be a great use of my polluted water to make fertilizer, but it uses so little polluted water that it actually can't take more than your bathrooms produce. So yeah, find another use for your bathroom polluted water. However, I think I have potential uses for fertilizer in the future. I'll see what I can use it for. Hint, it's probably gonna be rocket oxidizer. Probably. That was kind of the plan when I built this. Oh yeah, and it produces natural gas, which I'll store up eventually. While we're on the topic of discovering the surfaces of planetoids, here's another one. I kind of get annoyed by that alert because I think something's gone wrong, but no, we just discovered the surface of another planetoid. This seems to be another swampy planetoid, but it's the one pretty close to our main one, so I might be coming here in the future. Especially considering this planetoid also has a frozen core at the bottom which has, betas, which are kind of important for uranium processing and eventually research reactors. One last thing, the crazy radiation coming from that crashed satellite gives me a very bad idea. This mega project is going to be, well, a mega base. I don't think I can really call it mega, maybe just a base. But pretty much it's going to be insulated, it's going to have Atmo suits, and it's going to have everything the duplicants need to live inside of it. The only issue right now is cleaning it all up, because there's a lot of debris here from just mining all of the blocks out, because of my full miner yield. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, one of the mods I have, called High Pressure Applications, is what allows this base to work. Normally I would have, 3 or 4 loading bays of Atmo suits, of like 10 slots. But with High Pressure Applications, the high pressure gas pipe can hold 10 kilograms of oxygen, which means you can fuel 10 pipes at once. Or just do a massive line like this, which is pretty awesome. While I was trying to figure out the Atmo suits, I got a little bit of a surprise. However, this is a very welcome surprise, because getting a poke shell from the second planetoid would have been very annoying. Yeah, it's just a copy of the other farms. I'm too lazy to design a poke shell farm right now. Simple Great Hall. Just a lot of tables for a lot of duplicants. The max design capacity for this base is going to be around 30. Speaking of capacity, I was originally going to have luxury barracks, however, the beds are just too big. I wouldn't be able to fit 30 of these beds in this entire base. I mean, maybe I could, but then I wouldn't have room for other important stuff like a bathroom or a kitchen or a training room. Things duplicants need besides beds. And honestly, it's a very small morale bonus for luxury barracks, so I don't even think it's worth it. Maybe if you had a lot of room, but not here. However, I plan to try and make up for the lack of morale bonus with a lot of decor bonus, as I usually do. And what's this lag, you ask? Well, I reloaded. You can probably tell why. Until I get an actual setup going, for the meantime, I'm just going to take my oxygen lines straight from my oxygen production. which is becoming less and less useful considering I'm now running out of both salt and rust to make oxygen, so I'm gonna need a solution very soon. Even though they technically do slow duplicants down, I do prefer to use the airlock doors. They are far more convenient than making a liquid lock. Maybe not in the long term though, especially if we manage to get, 30 duplicants in here. If I hadn't made my point before, my least favorite critter in this game is pips. I hate them with every part of my soul. This is another good reason why. They just grief my base. How many hours of duplicant labor have been lost restocking that container due to that pip? I still don't know what I was thinking when I built this, when I put a bunch of incubators down. There's supposed to be egg storage, but I kind of forgot to take out the wires, and that could overload that wire very easily. Considering how few resources this thing does take to run, I'm just going to leave it running forever. The real question is, it doesn't overpressurize, so how much natural gas can I get in there? This could get very interesting. A lot of the close calls I've had in this series is my duplicants almost suffocating in their own base, so never forget your ventilation systems. Sometimes I forget, but now that I have an actual base, the duplicants need Atmo suit training, so their Atmo suits last way longer. And now that the base is done, my duplicants can start going to a bit more extreme areas. For example, this cold biome, without me having to make a small Atmo suit loadout before they get in. Oh yeah, using this mod, you can also make extremely convenient airlocks that have no heat transfer just by doing this. You put 2 tiles in the middle so there's no atmosphere, then you just break the tiles and boom, instant no heat transfer airlock. Pretty awesome. I still don't really have the food infrastructure to afford more duplicants, but building and suit wearing are pretty much the 2 best interests to get now. So welcome Nagato to our colony. Another perfect example of why I hate pips. I'm just casually trying to plant some bristle blossoms so I can maybe make some berry sludge with the sleet wheat that I have lying around. But this annoying pip decides to plant a mealwood. I also bet good money he planted that pincha pepper plant. If you're still really wondering about the unpowered incubators, I'm curious about why I did that too. It was kind of just an idea to have egg storage, so I take the eggs out because I hadn't set up any automation for it yet. And it actually worked pretty well until the baby critters weren't taken out. Then you had adult critters that you had to deal with, and stone hatches are insanely annoying to evolve. So that happened many times. Oh yeah, the whole reason for this clip, I remember now. I discovered the gassy moo planetoid. I also did get to see the surface a little later on, so that was pretty neat. Also, global warming. The ice in my cold biome where all my industry is melting, filling up the liquid tank at the bottom, which means it's flooding most of my buildings. This is annoying. And this is the reason you design stuff before you build it. I just needed some oxygen production, quick and dirty, so yeah, this isn't special or anything. I had to put a filter to filter out the hydrogen from the oxygen, but it's alright, it works. I mean, at least the oxygen stays at the bottom. The top is mixed between hydrogen and oxygen, but otherwise, I'd say it works, well, at least decently. If you're wondering why I was trying to make berry sludge, well, it's pretty much because I'm running off muckroot to feed Eldridge, and Eldridge needs something to eat while she's in space. So, yeah, this is gonna be what she's gonna eat. However, I just have to prevent every other duplicant from being able to steal her food. They're mostly going to prioritize berry sludge because it has way higher morale than anything else they can eat right now. Looking back at the footage, I realized how stupid this is. Okay, so pretty much the oxygen output from the pumps was supposed to get cooled through the cold area, and it does, but instead of going into this room, it should have just used gas bridges to all go onto the high pressure gas pipe. But, I only think of that now instead of when actually building it. The reason I was so careful here is because I'm 99% sure if a high pressure and normal gas pipe interact, it crashes the game. Oh yeah, we also have to vent out all the polluted oxygen from this setup. I should also mention, you know how expensive this gas pump is? It's like 2,400 watts or something like that. It would have been way more efficient just to use normal gas pumps. And, you know, honestly, it doesn't even create a great buffer either. It literally is not worth the power or effort. Man, I don't know how many hours I am in, you know, when I'm editing this, but I really should change this. Anyways, now that we have high pressure gas, we can finally start filling up the rest of our Atmo suits at a decent rate. Through testing, I learned that Atmo suit docks can only fill up the Atmo suits at a rate of 1 kilogram a second, so it only takes 1 kilogram out of the pipe. It can't take 10 per second. I mean, it makes sense because you were never supposed to use this much gas in a single pipe, but here we are. I kind of like the system a bit more though, so you can fill up way more Atmo suits in way less time. Also, converting these pipes the entire time I was scared. I deleted the pipe before I placed a new one, of course, but I was just scared that I might accidentally interact with one another and crash the game. Bathrooms are also extremely important. Don't forget your bathrooms. This is just a standard setup of mine, of course, with an overflow. I'll dump the overflow somewhere eventually. For now, we just need duplicates that go to the bathroom in the base. The entire time, I forgot Taiho had decorating as an interest. I mostly got them for just building and their increased decor and germ resistance, but yeah, I should probably spec into that at some time. And thanks to the fact that we have a base, I should have built this much earlier, but I decided to do it now for some reason, a duplicate training gym. Pretty much, duplicates that are assigned to this room just run infinitely on these manual power generators, and they get their athletics and machinery up pretty high. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider liking the video, perhaps even subscribing. But for now, this is gonna be Enzo from LookIntoGaming signing out.